Give it up for Billy, everyone. We're out of Melbourne. We're in safe Brisbane territory. Saw a mural of Jonathan Thurston today. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's sick. I used to be into like women that like didn't give a fuck about anything. I thought it was like the hottest thing ever, just to not care about anything. And then I dated one, and now I'm all good. I'm full. Yeah, now I like women that like, I don't know, pay for insurance, use inside voices, don't throw things, lots of good stuff. Just like, relationships are just exhausting. You just like meet someone at a party and you're like, this person's sick, and then 6 months later you're just in a car being like, so you don't believe in ghosts at all? Just at all? Okay, yeah, sure, I'm the arsehole. Just having a fight outside a zoo about whether it's okay to smoke weed outside of a zoo. And you're like, they built the zoo. Like, I'm not the bad guy here. If like a cop came at this moment, they'd be like, he's gonna see penguins. Like, let's let the boy play. I am like an Australian dude that's like every time in a relationship, I'm like, I love you, I will fucking fight someone for you. Like, I'll flog a cunt. Like, just tell me who. And they're always like, I don't want you to fight anyone. And you're like, well, it's not really about you, is it? And how I choose to address it. I think I just watched like too much Underbelly when I was like 16. Just mashes up just violence and sex and love into one like beautiful 38-minute program. And then now every time I'm in love, I need to like stab an ecstasy dealer or something. Burn down a club at the Cross. My ex used to work in government. She was working infrastructure or some shit. She'd be at home, and I have a lot of free time, and she'd have the laptop open working, and I'd like glance at it for like a second, and she'd be like, what you see here, this is government material, like you can't, this isn't released to the public until July, like no one can know about this, you can't tell, and I just have to be like, babe, I promise not to tell anyone about the new bus line coming to Canberra. Oh my God, even if I'm tortured. And they're like, tell me the most boring thing you've ever heard. And I'm like, I can't, I love it. If I told my mates about the new bus line coming to Canberra, and they even remotely gave a shit, I'd be like, do you love her? Fuck. I like the early start of a relationship. You get to like tell them all like the beautiful moments from your life. You get to like share that with someone. So I was like telling her, I was like, when I was like a child, when I was like probably like 9 or 10, there was this pedophile in our neighborhood. And we used to roll tires. He lived at the bottom of a hill, and we used to roll tires down the hill. And sometimes we'd set them on fire, and we'd fucking just scream at him. And it was just a very beautiful time in my life that I like to share with my loved ones. And she was like, how did you know he was a pedophile? And I was like, oh fuck, I guess we didn't, true. I couldn't think of like one thing that wasn't like appearance based. I was like, well, his eyes were really far apart. And then his hair went back like this. And he got really weird when we called him a pedophile. I've called like 7 people, and all of them are like, yeah, his eyes were like really far apart. No, I have like a shitty car that like you shouldn't take outside of like the city limits, but I just do anyway. And I have to go to these rural gigs sometimes and stand on top of a table in the corner of an RSL. And it's just like, there's all those like just one lane roads in the country, and there's always just some cunt in a Commodore behind me just flashing me. And I'm like, dude, look at the car. Give me a fucking break. She's not hitting 120, I'm sorry. It's like, you should see her in a 60 zone. She fucking kicks it. She's so good. And then I get all defensive. I'm like, in Uzbekistan, this would be a military vehicle. So, you go fuck yourself. She just loves cool, like you can see the dripping from underneath when I'm driving. You can follow my track throughout the city. She just loves coolant so much. She loves it. I think I'm like in the top 1% of like coolant buyers, purchases in the world. It's like petrol and coolant, they're pretty even in my household. I just give her more and she just gargles it around her mouth and spits it out. More, you fucking little slut, you love it. Anyone here like work like science, like kind of engineering, like we got any Dr. Carls? We got some Dr. Carls, nice. So this is a question for you, but we can all be a part of it. So when I wake up from like a very homoerotic dream, do you think that there's like a gay guy in my neighbourhood waking up from a straight dream at the same time? I'm mixing dreams with someone. I think it's the Telstra Towers or something. Because dreams come from the sky. And it's just like, I'm at the point at this, like, in my year where I just want to walk up to men in my neighbourhood and be like, are you super into Mediterranean men? Because I'm getting all of your dreams. It's just, there probably is just a gay dude in my neighbourhood just waking up and being like, fucking brunettes with small tits again, what the fuck's going on? Just a normal amount, like 4 to 7 times a week. I just wake up from Corfu and I'm like, holy shit, dude. Nah, not all my dreams are sexual. Some of them are not sexual, but most of those ones I'm just having breakfast with my husband Stavros, so it's like still pretty Mediterranean. I have like a fantasy of getting put in an ambulance. I just want to be like a brave little soldier for like 2 hours. And I know that they're going to have to ask if I have like any underlying health conditions. And I'm just so excited to be like, depression? I'm actually special, so... Like, I know you're treating my broken collarbone, but like, if I don't get lots of sunlight and exercise during this, I'm going to bruise. No, I don't think I could say I have depression anymore. Like, pre-medication, I was like, my whole thing was like, I need to go to Tasmania and lie in the rain. Tasmania is the place, that's where I'm going to figure it all out. The thing is, Tasmania is just for like depressed cunts that haven't wronged enough people to move to Darwin. That's all it is. I want a little wristband like the diabetic people. So if someone finds me, they're like, oh my god, he's got depression. Just walk around like, depression. If you ever ask me about underlying health conditions, I had to go go-karting and they were like, underlying health conditions. I was like, oh, depression. Get ready for that. Just, depression. Do not resuscitate. I used to be a removalist. It's a very thankless job. You just rock up to like a mansion and people complain to you. And you're just like, everyone finds moving very stressful. And they're like, who should I vent this to? Oh, the young man carrying my fridge. Perfect candidate. That's a good boy. And like at the start, you're like, man, like, people find moving really stressful, I guess. Christ. And then like 3 months later, you're like, you're not really touching anything and it's moving locations. So it's kind of magic. So why don't you fuck off? The problem is, like, if you are like a wealthy enough white lady, you really can't do any task without labeling it either a nightmare or a roller coaster. Like, we got the kitchen redone, it was a nightmare. You're like wearing a shirt that matches a truck and you're like, yeah, that's what all my nightmares are like too. People doing paid services for me. I just worked at like a bad company that didn't pay very well. Oh, true, shout out, man, this van. And they didn't pay very well, so it was just like me and British backpackers. And I have like nothing against British people at all on stage. Take a microphone out of my hand, I'll say some things. Nah, they're just fucking shit removalists in this country. I think they could be good in England, I don't know, I haven't done the research, but here they don't hydrate enough. They don't up the hydration when they go closer to the equator. I don't know what you can do in England if you can just walk around the countryside and miss your face and then you add a bit of water to your gravy and you're just like, oh, I'm done for the year, nice. You've actually got to drink quite a bit of water in this country if you're running upstairs with cabinets. I don't know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything, I genuinely am not, but like work one day with a British removalist and you'll be like, oh yeah, Stonehenge was built by the aliens. Castles, they were aliens. Heathrow Airport was aliens and Polish people. I'll leave you on this guy. I saw something pretty cool the other day. It was a guy with a yarmulke, like the little Jewish hat, and then looked down, complete high vis. Has anyone ever seen that before? That's pretty good. New age, old age. Pretty fun. If anyone also has seen that before, we've seen the same guy. There's two of those guys. Alright guys, are you guys keen for Billy? Yeah! Let's put the big dog out.